Look, not everyone wants to be the face of their clothing brand, and you don't have to be. I've now helped nearly 400 brands grow loyal customer communities without ever stepping in front of a camera. So in this short video, I'm going to show you the alternative content method that works even better than personal brands and how to build trust with your followers without ever showing your face. But first, why do so many experts say that you need a personal brand? Because there are hundreds of wildly successful businesses with some of the most committed fans in the world, and yet the founder has never shown their face. For example, Phil Knight. Unless you're really familiar with the fashion industry, you'd never know he was the founder of Nike. And the irony is that Phil doesn't even have an Instagram page. So here's the thing. The reason experts talk about personal branding so often is because it makes your brand authentic. Without a human element, you seem sort of robotic or undesirable. But what Nike shows us is that a personal brand is just one way to do authenticity and build trust. In fact, there's a second way that might be even better for community building, and it means you don't have to show your face on camera if you don't want to. So what is this strategy anyway? Well, I like to call it the community brand method. If we have a look at Nike's page, again, we don't see Phil Knight, but it still feels really human because we see all the faces of real athletes that we know in the community. And that's exactly how it works. Instead of showing the face of the founder, your brand is the many faces of your community. But how do you do that? Well, the good news is you don't need access to people like Michael Jordan to pull off this strategy. Actually, there are 3 stages to scaling a community brand. And if you get to stage 3, you can expect collaborations with bigger influencers, even if you only have 1,000 followers or less right now. And stage 1 is crucial because it's going to teach you the basics of making content with other people. And it's called the friends and family stage. Here's how it works. Create a list of people that you know in real life that embody your brand identity. For example, if you've got an outdoors brand, find the most active and adventurous friends you have. Then send them a message asking if they'd be open to help create content in return for free clothes. In other words, you aren't the personal brand. They are, but just don't tell it to them like that. But what content are you actually gonna make with them? Well, one of my clients was building a brand for artists. So he created a series where each one of his friends showed off creative projects they were working on. You see, the point of a community brand isn't just about posting product shots where your friends are now the models. It's actually an opportunity to tell stories and show the brand lifestyle with real people that live it. And if you get really stuck for ideas here, let me show you one of the types of posts that works for literally any brand of any niche, and is what I like to call a human spotlight video. What it is a reel where you give your friend the opportunity to share a personal story about parts of them that relate to your brand. And to make this concept simple, let's come back to that outdoors brand from before. You could prompt your friend with a question like, what was the moment you fell in love with nature? And then just make your video about that. Keep repeating the same post with other friends in your circle until you get the hang of making the videos, because that's the point of stage 1. Because now it starts getting serious. Stage 2 is where you actually begin to see real brand growth, and it's because it's called the influencer stage. Now, most brands have no issue getting their friends to help with content, but there are 3 common problems they encounter when working with other creators. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you've ever tried this for yourself. Because the first is when you reach out and the creator asks for money that you don't have. In fact, they probably have a whole pricing list for all the different posts that you could do with them. And if not, you realize the reason why they don't ask for money is because their content sucks. And that's the second problem. But only some brands get that far because for most, the influencer is so slow to deliver on content that you're forced to give up entirely. In other words, the whole idea of influencer marketing has been totally hopeless for small brands, and it's forced them to be the face of their own Instagram page. But there is a way to solve all 3 of these problems to get influencers for free that make high quality content and deliver on time. And it's by finding targeting smaller creators that embody your brand identity, just like your friends did. And if you can get good at picking them before they blow up, you'll be like the guy who found Michael Jordan before he was famous. So really rich. And let me show you how. So Google has this little known feature called advanced search. And using this, we can type a simple formula to only show influencers of a particular size in your niche. And the formula is super simple, but watch really closely so you don't get lost. Type the word site followed by a colon symbol, this one right here, and without a space, put Instagram.com. What this does is refine your search to only show links that relate to Instagram. And next, you're going to add a word that describes your niche or the type of creators you're looking for. So let's say I work with Nike and we're looking to work with some more runners. I'm going to type runner because that's a term that many of my influencers might put in their Instagram bios. And once you hit search, you'll have a list of many different creators of all different sizes, many of which have 5,000 followers or less that would be more than happy to create content for free clothes. But if you don't get this next part right, you'll still experience the other problems where the content just sucks or it's just really slow to deliver. So the way to overcome this is by shooting with your influencers in person. I mean, actually meeting them and filming the content yourself. One of my clients used this method to get full creative control over how their videos look. And the delivery time is only based on when they finish editing. But here's the thing, your search will likely bring up creators from all over the world. So how do you meet them without going broke paying for plane tickets? Well, let's come back to the advanced Google search from before. And the trick is to add one word at the end in quotations for whatever city you live in. For example, if I lived in New York, I'd add NYC, hit search, and Google will refine the list to only showing your niche creators that include that city in their bio. And so using this method, here's one influencer I've found who is a 3-time marathon runner and lives in New York. That's absolutely perfect. And because I know I'm much more likely to respond to someone that I have things in common with, I can open my message with the fact that we live in the same city. So even as a stranger, you can build an instant connection. But stage 3 is where your brand really goes from small business to the big leagues, because now I'm going to show you the same anti-personal brand strategy used by Nike to scale. Because here's the thing, as the Nike brand gets bigger, they need even more community representation in their content, and there isn't the time to meet every single one of them in person. And you'll probably run into the same problem as your following grows too. So their solution is to turn their community into an army of content creators that make videos for them. And just to show you what this looks like, if I search hashtag Nike on Instagram, you will find over 120 million posts with this hashtag, and it doesn't cost them anything. And this is just a glimpse of the creator army that they've developed. But the best part is you don't need to be as big as Nike to do this for yourself. So let me show you how. This strategy is called product seeding, and it's where Nike has a list of small to medium creators all over the world that they send their products to every time new stock comes in. And then those creators go and make content with those products the same as before. Now, when most brands do this, they run into the same 3 problems from the beginning again, but Nike doesn't, and it's because they have a strict selection criteria. So now I'm going to show you this 3-question criteria for your own brand so that you can get high quality content delivered on time, even if you aren't shooting in person. And first, you need to make sure the influencer fits in with your brand identity. In other words, do they actually live the lifestyle you sell, and does their content reflect that? Or do they even look like your target customer? And now, just to show you this criteria in action, I've taken the running creator we found from before and put them through the process for Nike. And now the first first thing to notice is that she's a female runner. And the good thing here is that Nike creates unisex clothes, so this is a big win. She does relate to the target customer. And secondly, she doesn't seem like an amateur runner, having done 3 marathons. So overall, I'm going to say Marilyn is a really good fit. But unlike stage 2, you don't have much control over what your creator army makes and how it looks, since you're just shipping out your products. So criteria number 2 is called content fit. And Marilyn's posts certainly look good, but comparing it to Nike running, it doesn't exactly fit the same style. Nike has a more stark studio look, whereas she is a lot more raw with her posts. But that being said, the actual content itself is telling stories and documenting her running journey, which Nike does anyway. And so for this reason, I'm going to say Marilyn is just a good fit, not a strong one, just a good one. And finally, we need to make sure they are going to send back content quickly. And to do this, I'm going to look at how often she posts. By the looks of things, it seems to be about 2 to 3 times each week, which is really good. And the closer to daily, the better, but she's still a strong fit in this category. And since her overall score is strong on average, I think Marilyn is a great option to include as part of Nike's creator army. And at the end of the day, when you're doing this for your brand, you get to decide how high your standards are. But as a general rule of thumb, I would only include creators that are a strong fit on 2 or more of the criteria. But this is only the beginning, because as you continue to send out products to high performing influencers, you can't just create the same few posts every time. So watch this video next, where I roast 3 real clothing brands and their Instagram pages, so you can know what to post and avoid common mistakes that keep brands stuck under 10,000 followers.